Hi students, this is Sarah here. I just wanted to make a little video to review how to read your bar graph report for your diet analysis journals. So you've already turned in your macronutrients assignments and I've graded most of them. And most people did a pretty good job. There were some sort of misconceptions or misinterpretations that I saw repeated, and I just wanted to correct those and also sort of go over how to read the report in case there's any confusion and really be clear about what I'm asking for the second writing assignment in this project. So the first thing that was a common mistake with the macronutrients was confusing the dietary reference intakes, so what your daily needs are of a nutrient, with the acceptable macronutrient distribution range, the AMDR. So when you're looking at your bar graph here, and this is just a sample one that I made, and I only put in like one meal each day. I didn't do it completely, so that's why the values are really low, but just work with me here, okay? So for example, the carbohydrates, the total carbohydrates in this report is 28%. That means that it's telling me that I'm only getting 28% of my daily needs of carbohydrates. Ideally, your daily needs, you want 100% of your daily needs, right? So in the assignment, I said are your carbohydrates between 80 and 120% of your daily needs? In other words, are they 100%, give or take a little bit on either end? So that is your DRI. That's your daily allowance or your percent DV, any of those things. That's your daily recommendation for carbohydrates. That's different than the AMDR, the acceptable macronutrient distribution range, which was something I wanted you to calculate, and I gave you a little tip on how to calculate. I gave you the formula to calculate it, but I didn't give you an example, and a lot of people really missed the boat on that one. But the acceptable macronutrient distribution range is the percent of your total energy intake that comes from that macronutrient. So for carbohydrates, we want to know how many calories from our total calories. If our total calories are 564, how many of those calories come from carbohydrates? So we have 92 grams of carbohydrates, and each gram of carbohydrate gives you 4 calories. So you would do 92 times 4, which I don't have a calculator with me, so I'm just going to estimate right now is about 400, okay? So 400 divided by 564, I can't calculate that right now. I've got a widget for it. So we've got 92 times 4 is 368, and we said that I have 564 calories total. So 368 calories from carbohydrates divided by 564 calories total equals 65, or times 100% would be 65%, okay? So that's saying that 65% of my calories per day come from carbohydrates. And the AMDR, the acceptable macronutrient distribution range for carbohydrates, is 45 to 65%. So in that case, I'm right within. I'm like on the upper level of the AMDR. So that's the difference. My daily allowance, or my recommended daily intakes, are only 28%, but I am within range of the acceptable macronutrient distribution range. Okay, so that's the difference. A lot of people missed out on it. I'm not going to go back and stress that, but that is what the difference is. So the most important thing for you to get out of this is your recommended intakes from this bar graph. Are you getting near 100% of your different nutrients that you need? So for the macronutrients, you should have gone through and looked at carbohydrates, and as a subset of carbohydrates, looked at the fiber, and with fat, looking at your total fat intake and the subsets of the different types of fat intake, etc. Okay, so that is how you read it. You're looking for 100%, or in other words, 80 to 120% of your recommended intake. So for the second assignment, the second writing assignment, which is technically the third assignment of the diet analysis project, considering the first one was to generate this report. Okay, so the third part of the assignment here is to do a journal on your micronutrients and on fluids. So again, it's going to be 3 separate journals, 3 separate pages, I guess. One about vitamins, one about minerals, and one about fluids. All right, and it's the same sort of guidelines as before. Each one should be about 300 to 600 words. Though for vitamins and minerals, if it's longer, if it's it can be up to 1,000 words, because there's a lot of vitamins and minerals, and some of you might find that you're low in a lot of vitamins and minerals, especially if you're low overall. If your calorie intake is low, if you're not eating enough food in general, you'll probably find that a lot of your vitamins and minerals are on the low side. So you might need to spend more time discussing vitamins and minerals. So those entries might be longer. Make sure that when you turn in your assignment that you are including your bar graph and my plate reports so that I can check for correctness, and that you're turning it in your folders that I handed you. So when you're writing, you should use this as a guideline, the sort of questions that I prompt you here, but you should also be using my grading rubric, or at least after you write a first draft addressing the questions I ask you here in the assignment, you should go back through and look at it through the eyes of this rubric, okay? Particularly this section here, the analysis section of the rubric. Make sure that you are hitting on all the points that I ask for here, because this is how I'm grading it. I want to know what your percent intake is for the nutrient. I want to know, are there different forms of the nutrient? In the case of the macronutrients, I wanted you to discuss in your fats journal, I wanted you to discuss saturated fats, unsaturated fats, trans fats, essential fatty acids, all of the different types of fats in the diet that you, and a little bit about each one, what the pros and cons of them are, what types of foods they're found in, and which types you have a lot of in your diet. So make sure you're addressing sort of all these points that I have in the factual section. In terms of the analysis and application part of the grading rubric, I want you to demonstrate, you need to be able to demonstrate that you really understand not just the facts, I mean not the journal should be sort of a combination of a journal assignment and a research paper. The factual component is I want there to be a section of the writing assignment that's devoted to telling me about the nutrients. Don't assume that just because I'm the instructor, I know all about them. Yes, but you need to show me that you as a student know all about the nutrients as well. So that is your chance to demonstrate your knowledge. And it's open book. You should be citing your book and possibly citing other sources as well if you want to go above and beyond. So that there's sort of one section of the paper should be devoted to demonstrating your knowledge about the nutrients, so in this case the vitamins or the minerals. And then in the application portion, you should be showing that you understand your bar graph report and which nutrients you are deficient in and which ones you are maybe getting too much of, and what foods those nutrients are found in, and how you can alter your diet specifically to correct any deficiencies in your diet. And so I don't mean by saying, oh, I can eat lots more vegetables and fruits and that'll give me more vitamins and minerals, okay? And I also, that's way too vague. And I also don't mean to say, don't say I'm going to eat more carrots and apples and broccoli, because that's still a very vague statement. That's like a New Year's resolution, like, yeah, I'm going to work out more this year. You know, I don't want those kinds of resolutions. I want you to pinpoint something. I want you to take a meal that you eat during the day and say how you could make it different. Or I want you to specifically say, I could eat, I could pack raisins or an apple for a snack instead of getting a coffee or a muffin. Like specific like items that you could eat at different parts of the day. Okay, so the more specific you are, that's what I'm looking for. So when it comes to this example report here, I'm just going, what you want to do for your vitamins and minerals journals is, sorry, that's my dog in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. You want to go through down the list of your vitamins and look for ones that are below 70%. That's the cutoff I said. And mark those. And then those are the ones that you are not getting enough of. So those are the ones you're going to want to talk about how you can improve your intake of. If you get more than 120% of a nutrient, so for example here, vitamin B12, you want to look and see if you are getting too much of it. What does too much of a vitamin mean? It means you're getting above the upper limit. You're getting more than the safe recommended dose. So there's charts in the back of your book, or you can just Google it, look it up online, the upper limit for vitamin B12. And the upper limit for vitamin B12 is very high. Very high. In fact, I'm not even sure if there is an upper limit for vitamin B12. I don't think there's any toxicity related to it. So I would have looked that up and cited that in my journal assignment and said, even though I'm getting 182% of my needs for vitamin B12, I'm not concerned about toxicity because the upper limit is XYZ, or there is no upper limit, so there's no toxicity known. But that might not be the same story for all the vitamins. Some of the vitamins you might be getting above, the recommended limit, and you might be at risk for toxicity. So another thing that I did not put in here, but I'm going to update the document right now and reload it online, is about vitamin supplements. So if you take a vitamin supplement, like a multivitamin, or if you take vitamin D on a daily basis, I'd like you to discuss that in these journals. I'd like you to compare your vitamins that you get from your diet, and then go look at your multivitamin nutrition label and see how much of each vitamin you get from that, and add it up and see, is it really necessary, first of all, for you to be taking a multivitamin? Are you getting all of the nutrients you need from food? And which ones, are there any that you are at risk of having toxicity from having both food and a multivitamin in your diet? So I do want you to look at that if that's something that you are incorporating in your diet. So that is pretty much the gist of the second writing assignment. Again, I have my tips down here that are very similar to the ones from the first assignment. So if you have any questions, I do not have an example paper for you. I planned on you using that first one as a reference point for all of them. But hopefully this explanation cleared some things up. And if not, let me know by email or phone, and I'm happy to give you advice. Also, if you do a rough draft, if you write a draft of this and send it to me, email it to me, I will look over it. I'm happy to give you feedback and let you know where you stand in my rubric, what your grade would be, and how you can improve it before you turn it in. Just please give me a good 3 days, good 72 hours in time for me to actually get the email, read it, give you feedback, and then allow you time to actually make improvements before you turn it in. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye.